Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of my video journal. I want to say happy holidays. There was New Year's and there was Christmas, and I hope everyone had a good one and spent time with family and, enjoyed life. I made a New Year's resolution and I would like to share it with everybody, and that resolution happens to be to start saving a lot more money. Because I kinda had a freak out about, kinda everything about this, like the surgeries that I'm gonna have to do and how much money I'm kinda like hemorrhaging out. It's not good. I haven't been budgeting very well. I haven't been sticking to it either. So starting this paycheck, I essentially will be doing nothing. If you want to hang out with me, just know that we're going to be playing a board game or something. And same thing if I do something with you, I'm not going to want to spend money. I have to save it at least until I get myself stabilized in my budget. So that's my New Year's resolution, and I really want to stick with it because, I like having my own place and I like having my own car. So that'll be nice to keep those. Yeah. I have a very specific topic, to change the subject. I have a very specific topic that I would like to talk about tonight. You might be able to see this Band-Aid. This is not the specific topic. The Band-Aid is, I would like to say it's a battle wound or something, like cool, like I got into a knife fight to save kids in an orphanage or something like that. But it's not. I have to shave daily, so I ended up nicking my face, and it didn't want to stop bleeding. So that's awesome. And I apologize for the sniffling because I'm kind of getting over being sick, but not at the same time. So like I'm trying to do my girl voice, or as best as I can to begin with, and it's just not working out the way that I want it to. I can't really practice as much when I can't like breathe. It's hard. It's hard to talk when you can't breathe. Now, the thing that I wanted to talk about more specifically is kind of a serious thing, because it's something that has been hitting me on and off lately. It's something that I don't think will ever go away in my head. I mean, I'm hoping that it does. I'm hoping that what I'm doing will help it go away. But as of right now, it's something that I have to live with and try to cope with as best as possible. And it affects my interpersonal relationships, not substantially, but it does make me change my behavior slightly. Now, what I'm talking about is something that psychologists call gender dysphoria. Say hi, Anna. Say hi. No? Alright. Gender dysphoria. Now, what gender dysphoria is when you are not happy, essentially, with the biological gender that you were assigned at birth. So you dislike, and it causes impairment, and it can cause like impairment in your social life and personal life, professional life, stuff like that, and it can cause depression. Like it's really good at causing depression. And a lot of people who are trans have gender dysphoria. I don't know exactly how everyone else copes with it. I just kind of like know that there's another side that I'm gonna make it to, where gender dysphoria isn't going to bother me as much. But I mean, it's a very serious thing, because to be unhappy with yourself at your very root, the gender that you were born, like, it's what identifies you essentially right off the bat. And to know that you are a different gender or something different altogether, but not being able to do anything, it can be very discouraging. It can be very upsetting. Oh, sorry, just kind of. And I struggle with this often. One of the most recent bouts of the dysphoria that really upset me, I had a horrible day all day because it started early in the morning, like as soon as I woke up. I was having problems with my hair, I was having problems with my makeup, I didn't like my body, and it was actually kind of funny because I had this thought, this moment, that uh, I was like, God, I freaking hate having gender dysphoria. Why do I have gender dysphoria? I love being a woman. Why would I have gender dysphoria? And then it clicked. I was like, oh wait, I'm not officially a woman yet. I just think of myself as a woman. I don't have gender dysphoria about being a woman. I have gender dysphoria about not being a woman yet. So I thought that was kind of funny. But the rest of the day was bad. Like, whenever somebody would say, would call me he, or mess up and call me Dustin, or him, Mr., Sir, whatever, all of that dialogue kind of like was, whenever I hear those words, it's like it pops out in my mind, and it's like bold, italicized, underlined, those words, those pronouns, that name. And it really upsets me, and it gets me worse and worse, and I fall deeper and deeper into it. Would you sit down or something? No? Okay. So it was worth a shot. So it can really affect you. It can really ruin a day. It can really ruin more than a day. It can ruin a couple of days straight, or a month, or however long you deal with it. Luckily for me, my gender dysphoria comes on and off. And people know me. I'm a very upbeat kind of person, except for random bouts of whatever anger I have that day. But I'm a very upbeat person. I like to be happy. I like to be social, and I like to talk. But when stuff like this happens, it completely ruins my mood. And the worst it's ever gotten was, I think it was back in 2014, before I seriously decided to transition. I was still in the decision process. I was still deciding whether or not I was going to go through with it. And this is a very, I don't think I've told a lot of my family this, so if they watch, then this might be new to them. But like I said before, this gender dysphoria can cause symptoms of depression, and some people don't really know how to cope with it. Some people don't think that in their life, they could ever come out, or they could ever make a decision of whether or not to transition, or they could even feminize themselves even just a little bit to express themselves somehow. And they end up making the only decision that they feel that they have at that point, when they think that all of the options have been taken from them. And I'm talking about suicide. And I made it to that point. I was very close. And it happened in 2014, the summer. I was working in Maryland, and it was not soon, but it was after my fiance split up with me, and I was very upset. I was very distraught over that. But I notice now, when I look back on it, I mean, I would get drunk all the time. When she broke up with me, I started drinking all the time. And when I drank to excess every time. That was my goal, to just drink and drink and drink. And every time I drank and drank and drank, I would cry. I would sob hysterically. It would just be so bad. And I would start off about my ex-fiance, but eventually it would move to me feeling bad about myself because I was this way, because I'm transgendered. And I hated myself. I hated everything. I hated not being able to make a decision. I hated feeling alone and everything like that. And it just got worse and worse. And I kept hating myself, and I kept hating that I had to go through this. And so I'm working in Maryland, and me and my friends who knew about me being a cross-dresser at the time, we would go out and we would get drinks and stuff like that, and I would drink to excess. And inevitably I would cry. And I would cry in front of these construction workers and stuff like that, and I'm like, and it would always start off about my ex-fiance, but always, the thing that would dominate me crying was, why am I like this? Why do I have to live with this? Why me? And sometimes when I get drunk, I like to go for walks. You'll notice that I'm there 1 second, and the next I'm just gone. But that night, I decided to go for a walk along the highway. And it was late. It was probably around midnight, 1 o'clock. And I'm walking along the highway in Maryland, and the shoulder of the road is about this wide. Not very big. Not even big enough for like my shoulders. Not that big. And that's where I'm walking. I'm walking along the shoulder, and I notice, and cars are just zooming by at like 60 miles an hour. And I'm just talking to myself. I'm talking to God. I'm talking to whatever higher power is there. I'm talking to whatever lower power is down there. Any kind of deity, freaking Greek mythology, I don't care, Zeus, Odin. I was talking to anybody who would listen. And I was screaming, and I was crying, and I was sobbing, and I hated myself, and I was cursing them all. Why am I like this? Why did you do this to me? Like, maybe not normal, but I understand that, like, this isn't a normal thing that I could be. Like, why do I have to deal with this? Of all things in the world, why this? Why do I have to be like this? I hate myself. I hate everything about me. And I couldn't stop, and I just got lower and lower and lower and lower, and I hated my body. I wanted to be a girl. I wished that I was just born a girl. I wanted to get rid of everything and just be who I want to be without having to worry about whether or not people are going to accept me, and whether or not I might get murdered one day, or people are going to make fun of me. It just, all of this shit just bottled up inside of me, and I sat down on the curb next to the shoulder, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm crying, and I'm still just talking to myself. And the cars are going by, and I realize and I think that all it'll take is just a little inclination of the head. And one of these cars going like 60 miles an hour can just drive by and just take it off. It can just end it. It can be over. I won't have to deal with this anymore. I won't have to worry about whether or not I have to make the decision to transition, or living the rest of my life on hormones, or dealing with the hatred that I had for myself. And all I had to do was lean forwards and let the car take my head off, essentially. But I didn't. I would be lying if I said I didn't start to lean forwards when a car was coming by. But I thought about my niece, who I love so much. She's such a little ray of sunshine. And I thought about my sister, and my mom, and my dad, and my aunt, my uncle, my cousins, all of them. And I thought about what it might do to them if I did this, and I thought how I would feel if I was able to feel anything after this about doing this to them, and seeing how they handle it, all because I wasn't strong enough to stand up and accept who I am when they don't even know yet. They're not even aware that I'm having this struggle. And I couldn't bring myself to do it. The love that I felt for my family and my friends and the people that I knew, it brought me back. And I got up and I started walking, and I ended up walking back to the hotel. And I went to sleep. I stopped crying. But I was this close. But the love that I have for people kind of brought me back. Now I don't ever want to be that low again, which is why I had made this decision. That's why this decision is so important to me. It's another reason why this transition means so much, because this transition is the difference between happy Justine or dead Dustin. I'd rather be happy Justine. And I wish that everybody was able to make and pull themselves back away from the metaphoric car to take off their head. I wish everybody could just pull themselves back. And I understand it's a lot more difficult, and everybody has different situations, but that was mine. And I think that I've made the right choice with my life. I think that I'm going to be a lot happier now, because I've never been happier with this in my entire life. And I know this is just me gushing about transitioning and stuff again, but I can't stop. I'm so happy to be alive right now, and I'm so happy that I've been able to go through this and accept who I am finally and start to feel good about myself. Going from being somebody who hated everything about themselves, right down to their body, to being someone who is working towards being the best of the potential of someone that I could actually enjoy being, it's a difference between night and day, and it makes me so happy that I could do this. And it makes me happy that there's the technology to share this and these stories with everyone. And I wanted to finally tell everyone about this story, if they didn't know, because it's a very important thing about how much gender dysphoria really affects people. And I'm not alone in that. There's a lot of everybody is probably affected by gender dysphoria at some point or another, but mine just pushed me towards this decision for transition. Thank you for listening to my story. I really appreciate all my viewers. I was going to say watchers. That just sounds a little weird. And feel free to comment or like this video and share it to everybody. And if anybody ever has any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to message me and ask me, and I'll definitely get back to you as soon as possible. So everyone, I'll talk to you later. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Everything's so